This is the news feed at 4.
House parties in 2 different Texas cities led to deadly shootings last weekend. We'll have more on that here in a minute. And so much support is being given to the families trying to cope with the tragedy in Lewiston, Maine.
Plus, artificial intelligence continues to be the topic of discussion. But are those discussions positive or possible problems? Those stories along with weather and timeline sports on the way. So glad you could join us on the newsfeed at 4. I'm Isabel Price.
And I'm Ryan Cottrell. As always, we have many stories to get to, but first, we're following the developing story in Everman. A press conference was held Monday where Police Chief Greg Spencer said a Tarrant County grand jury has issued 4 indictments against the mother of Noel Rodriguez Alvarez.
Cindy Rodriguez Sy is charged with capital murder, 2 counts of injury to a child, and 1 count of abandoning without the intent to return. The Everman Police Department released airport surveillance photos of Noel's family preparing to board a flight to Turkey, then to India without Noel. Police hope these indictments will speed up the process of getting Noel's mother back to the U.S. to face the charges. Police are still searching for Noel's remains.
New details about a house party in San Antonio that turned deadly on Saturday. An argument broke out in the front yard of a home where investigators say a 20-year-old involved in the dispute pulled out a gun and started firing, striking a mother, father, and their 13-year-old daughter. The father fired back at it with his own gun and shot the 21-year-old and one of his relatives. The father and his wife later died of their injuries, while their daughter is expected to recover from her wounds. Police say the gunman and his relative also are expected to survive. Authorities are investigating, and there's no word yet on whether police will file any charges. And on that very same night, a similar situation took place in Texarkana. 3 people were killed following a fistfight between 2 men at a party. 1 man died at the scene. A woman and another man died at a local hospital. 2 more men and another woman who were also shot suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Police say they have identified a 20-year-old man as a suspect in the shootings.
A trial date for Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's long-running securities fraud case has been set. Paxton is accused of defrauding investors who were backing a company called Servergy in 2011 when he was a state lawmaker. In 2015, soon after he became Attorney General, Paxton surrendered to authorities on 2 charges of securities fraud in excess of $100,000. The trial is set to start on April 15th.
Construction has begun on a new elementary school in Uvalde. It is set to replace Robb Elementary, which we all remember the horrific shooting that took the lives of 19 children and 2 teachers. The groundbreaking ceremony took place Saturday, according to the Moving Forward Foundation. The new school is scheduled to open in the fall of 2025 next to the existing Dalton Elementary. The campus will share a gym, library, and playgrounds. According to the foundation, 75% of the construction is already funded, but the donations are still being accepted.
A tragedy in Houston as family and friends of a beloved pediatrician are in anguish after someone stabbed her to death at her apartment building. Corley Peel has details on what happened and information about the man now charged with the doctor's death.
A loving mother and a devoted pediatrician. That's how Dr. Talat Khan's niece and brother knew her best.
Extremely loving, kind. She was my aunt. And the best aunt.
To her kids and her kids that she looked after as a pediatrician were her entire life. Everything in her life revolved around those 2 things.
Wajahat Niaz says his sister recently moved to Conroe in July from Seattle, hoping for more sunshine.
She liked to see the sun and the warm weather. So that was one of the main reasons why she moved here.
Their world turned upside down on Saturday after learning Dr. Khan was brutally murdered. Investigators say Dr. Khan was sitting at a picnic table inside the Alice Apartments when 24-year-old Miles Fridrich stabbed her multiple times. Several neighbors rushed to help.
It's so senseless. I mean, I have no word to describe it.
The motive is a mystery. Dr. Khan's family says they have never heard of Fridrich before, but it's unclear if they knew each other.
To our knowledge,
Not that
no.
we know of.
It's unclear why Fridrich was at the Alice Apartments. His arrest information shows he has a Dallas address. Records show he has previous arrests in Conroe.
This loss is just unimaginable for us. we are not able to understand this or, to make sense out of it. A murder like this should not go unpunished.
The break, artificial intelligence, better known as AI, is developers putting more thought into this growing technology.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How is it? Is it good?
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over.
Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together.
It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry, I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call.
Come on! Go, Diane! Yeah, keep it going! Yeah! Go, honey!
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane! Woo! You got this!
New details in the case of Robert Card, the gunman accused of carrying out a mass shooting that left 18 people dead last week in Lewiston, Maine. Real quick, for those who don't know, Card was found dead Friday from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Now, new documents show police were asked to check on Card just 2 weeks before the attacks. It came after a fellow National Guardsman expressed concern that Card would, quote, snap and commit a mass shooting. At the time, Card was still a U.S. Army reservist. The documents also detail concerns from family. In early May, Card's ex-wife and son went to police to report their concerns about his anger and paranoia. And just this past Tuesday morning, Lewiston students returned to school for the first time since the shooting. There was extra security, a lightened workload, and hopes of helping students and staff ease back into the routine. The district superintendent says mental health and physical safety are at the top of his priority list. And right next door, a small community also had their first day back. A middle school student in Libsyn, Maine, lost his father in the shooting, leading a Norfolk police officer to head to Libsyn with community resource dogs. You can see right there Mitch and Harper to provide comfort to the students who were also in shelter in place from Wednesday night to Friday afternoon.
And those two weren't the only dogs offering comfort, as another group of dogs is answering the call to offer even more support to those struggling. As Brianna Borghi explains, this isn't the first time the dogs have provided comfort to victims of mass shootings.
It's the dogs. They're just, they have the powers.
3-year-old Zodiac is fresh off a plane from Cleveland, just one of 5 dogs preparing to respond to the mass shootings in Lewiston, Maine. He's part of an organization called Crisis Response Canines, a nonprofit dedicated to providing emotional support in the aftermath of unimaginable situations.
That one moment of happiness and joy instead of everything just being so heavy and sad.
Zodiac's handler, Shirley Graziano, has seen the positive impact of Crisis Canines firsthand, describing the time she comforted a woman in Uvalde, Texas, following the Robb Elementary School shooting.
She said, "I don't speak any English." And I said, "I don't speak any Spanish." And the next thing you know, she's crying on his head, hugging me.
And as for Zodiac's purple tail, there's a reason for that.
We were minding our own business. We walked by and she stopped us and she said, "Does he have a purple tail?" And I said, yes. And she's like, can I ask why? I said, because of what just happened right here. You were in a really bad place, and for these split seconds, he made you think of something else that was happier.
A high school in Houston went into lockdown after its artificial intelligence security system thought a student was walking onto campus with a weapon. It was later discovered that this was just a false alarm. Corley Peel has more.
This image of a student outside Brazoswood High School is what officials say prompted the campus to go into a lockdown Wednesday morning. A parent who wants to remain anonymous says his daughter texted him that she was hiding.
She was scared, friends were scared, family was scared, everybody was scared.
The school's Zero Eyes AI security system picked up the image. The technology notified Zero Eyes staff members who relayed the image to the school. The school then made the decision to go into lockdown.
Our analyst erred on the side of safety and said that we believe that this indeed is a rifle, just based on the image that we've given in the software and the service that we're providing.
After further review, the situation turned out to be a false alarm. Officials say the area where a red box is outlined in the image was not a weapon.
In the background, there was some brush and shadowing and a ditch from the background. So all that in communication with our software and how the individual's arm was positioned, just as if it would be holding an assault rifle.
Brazosport ISD sent KPRC2 a statement saying in part, in the past several months since installing Zero Eyes, the system has captured other photos of potential weapons that were dismissed before any alerts were sent to our officials after the staff of Zero Eyes had reviewed the images. However, yesterday was the first instance where a lockdown was actually called. Parents have mixed emotions about how Wednesday's lockdown was handled. Zero Eyes officials say they would rather be safe than risk a dangerous situation.
And AI security appears to be on the mind of the Biden administration, announcing a new executive order aimed at keeping AI's powers constrained and the technology's developers accountable. Mike Valerio takes a look at the problems and prospects of AI and how the federal government is responding to the need for regulation.
Artificial intelligence technology is advancing rapidly, and the federal government is scrambling to keep up.
I'm about to sign an executive order that is the most significant action any government anywhere in the world has ever taken on AI safety, security, and trust.
The White House unveiling a sweeping new executive order Monday aimed at mitigating the risks of AI while also harnessing its potential.
To realize the promise of AI and avoid the risk, we need to govern this technology.
According to the Biden administration, the order will require all AI developers to share results of their safety tests with the federal government before they're released to the public, compel companies to notify the government if an AI model in development poses national security, economic, or health risks, ease immigration barriers for skilled workers to study and stay in the U.S., establish standards to prevent AI production of dangerous biological materials, and develop best practices to minimize the risks of AI displacing human workers. Among a number of other key concerns, Harvard's Bruce Schneier says getting AI regulation right is critical.
They're not freewheeling technologies. They're more like pharmaceuticals. You get them wrong and people die.
He says AI has the potential to transform the way we live and work for the better if the technology is kept in check.
This is going to be the beginning of a very long international process, but it's a start, and it's an important start.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Israel has strengthened its push to fight back against Hamas. How does this affect the Egyptian border? Find out next.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the-right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Need a ride? Yeah! Driving with kids is a big responsibility.
Hop in and buckle up!
So don't sweat the small stuff.
You got paint all over our paper!
Get the big stuff right instead.
What does that mean?
Like making sure your kids are in the correct car seat and buckled up for safer travel.
That deserves a wiggly wiggly wig.
To make sure your child is in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Beep, beep.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Junk fees take real money out of pockets of Americans, and they add up to hundreds of dollars and weighing down family budgets and making it harder to pay the bills.
The Biden administration introduced a proposed new rule aimed at making it easier for Americans to save for retirement and avoid junk fees. The rule will require financial professionals who sell retirement investments and advice to do so in the best interest of their clients. In other words, to not steer a client toward one product or service based on how much money they make by doing so. Congress and federal regulators already have fiduciary best interest rules in place to protect investors, but those rules don't cover all types of investment products. Pushback from the financial service industry is expected.
Now onto the growing conflict between Israel and Hamas. The tightly restricted crossing between Egypt and Gaza is opening slightly. Egyptian authorities are allowing in limited numbers injured civilians and foreign nationals holding passports. The urgency of border access is rising every day as Israel ramps up its strikes on Hamas, including one Tuesday that the IDF says targeted a Hamas commander who they say was one of the people responsible for the October 7th attack that left more than 1,400 people dead and hundreds taken hostage. That strike left catastrophic damage on a Gaza neighborhood, likely leaving a large number of people dead or wounded. Laura Aguirre with more on that strike and the evacuations, with a warning that viewers may find some details and images disturbing.
Chaos in the aftermath of an Israeli strike on Gaza's largest refugee camp, Jabalia, Tuesday. The densely populated camp is filled with families with children and embedded Hamas militants, says Israeli military officials. The IDF confirms they targeted and killed several Hamas combatants, including a top commander in the strike.
Our bombs struck not on buildings, but in between the buildings because we were aiming for the tunnel complex where the Hamas combatant commander was.
Wednesday, a second Israeli airstrike in the same camp. A doctor at the scene told CNN that there were hundreds wounded and dead.
It is because there are terrorists that are embedded there. The IDF right now is fighting in face-to-face combat with Hamas terrorists inside Jabalia. Ultimately speaking, the collateral damage, and this is very clear, is on Hamas's shoulders.
Meanwhile, at the Rafah gate crossing between Egypt and Gaza, limited evacuations have begun. Part of a deal brokered by Qatar between Israel, Hamas, and Egypt in coordination with the U.S., according to sources familiar with the talks.
An initial group of foreign nationals, including U.S. citizens, departed Gaza through Rafah today. And we expect exits of U.S. citizens and foreign nationals to continue over the next several days.
This as hundreds of others wait outside the gate, hopeful that they too will soon escape the horrors of war. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
All right, Ryan, it's really cold outside.
Exactly, it very much is.
All righty, we'll have Victor coming up right now with weather.
I hope everybody has been staying warm in these winter-like temperatures we've had these last couple of days. Currently, temperatures have risen a little bit. Currently at 59, nice and sunny skies, a little gusty winds between 10 to 15 miles per hour, and temperatures will be dropping down low as 42 degrees tonight. Looking throughout the Metroplex, temperatures will remain in the high 50s and low 60s. 61 for Dallas, 59 for Denton, and 61 for Waco. As the night progresses, by 8 p.m. tonight, temperatures will start slowly dropping again, 53 degrees, and by midnight as low as 44 degrees. You want to crank up those heaters and stay warm throughout the night. For tomorrow morning, for your morning commute, Have those warm sweaters ready or jackets because temperatures will be in the low and mid 40s. Fort Worth at 47, Dallas 48, and as low as 43 down in Waco. For our weekend forecast, temperatures will be in the 50s and high 70s. 54 for Friday, a high of 69 with nice and clear skies. And for Sunday, for that Cowboys game, if you have any plans for outdoor activities, good news. Temperatures will go up to 78 degrees for the high and a low of 62 with sunny skies. For our 7-day forecast, Monday, temperatures will go up in the 80s again, as high as 81 with a low of 56. Nice and clear skies. As we move throughout the week, temperatures will slowly start to drop again. By Thursday and Friday, we will be in the high 40s with an average of 64 degrees for our high, and for Sunday, 67 degrees. You are watching the NewsFeed at 4. Keep it right here. We'll be right back.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
We all know what it's like to feel alone. But it just takes one new connection. Want to get out of here? To empower many.
This is unbelievable.
It doesn't take a superhero to bring forces together. We all have the power to reach out.
Let's go!
And help someone feel like they belong.
Pretty cool, huh?
We are stronger together.
Can't believe you're doing this alone.
I've done it before.
I remember. You threw your back out. How you holding up?
Hand me that board.
Nothing wrong with getting help.
I'm good.
I did it when Felicia left.
I'll figure it out.
I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying.
If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence?
Now you need my help.
It can be a real pain sometimes, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
The U.S. infant mortality rate is up for the first time in more than 20 years. That's according to a report released Wednesday by the National Center for Health Statistics. It found the overall infant mortality rate rose by 3% from 2021 to 2022. Experts say infant mortality is often a useful benchmark for a country's health system at large, but say this rise could be an isolated case. The increase could be a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the data shows race also appears to be a factor, as different racial groups experience different rates of infant mortality. And we all know the Rangers' motto, go and take it. Well, they took it. Rangers winning the World Series. Mitch, how you feeling?
Ryan, I saw it with my own eyes, but I don't know if I believe it yet. I'm still so ecstatic. November 1st, 2023, a day that'll be remembered by DFW forever. A 2-2 count for pitcher Josh Sborz and a curveball into the top right corner of the strike zone. That's the moment before the Texas Rangers became champions. No, you're not hearing things. The Texas Rangers are World Series champions. Over 50 years since the Washington Senators moved to Texas and became our beloved baseball team, and 12 years since the last attempt at the World Series. All that history leading up to last night. They finally did it. Nathan Eovaldi toughed out 6 innings on the mound, keeping the Diamondbacks scoreless, and Mitch Garver drove in the first run of the game, followed by Jonah Heim hitting in 2 more, and then Marcus Semien capping it off with a 2-run bomb to left center field. This team was made for this moment. Corey Seager is your 2023 World Series MVP, and your Texas Rangers are your 2023 World Series champions. How can you not be romantic about baseball? The guys are bringing the trophy back to Arlington tomorrow to celebrate with the fans with a parade around Globe Life Field. The celebrating starts at 12:15 p.m. Thank you and congratulations, Rangers. Rightfully so. The Rangers took up most of my time, so we're going to speed through the rest of the DFW. The Dallas Stars look strong at 6-1-1 and travel to Edmonton tonight to take on the Oilers. That game starts at 8 p.m. Luka and the Mavs travel to Denver to face Nikola Jokic and the defending champion Nuggets. Tip-off for Mavs Nuggets is tomorrow at 9 p.m. And finally, in America's Game of the Week, the Cowboys take on the Eagles Sunday at 3:25. That's it for your Timeline Sports, and we'll be right back after the break.
I am so glad you ladies are here. You each have your own rooms. Thank you. Good.
Is it okay to call you Mom?
Of course you can.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
Okay.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think.
You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Screams of delight from trick-or-treaters fill the air on Halloween nights, but in Broadview Heights, Ohio, love was in the air too. It took guts for one young man to enter a haunted house and even more courage for him to propose to his girlfriend once inside. Teresa DeTiro, has more on the scary sweet proposal.
On Halloween night, Bloodview haunted house actors are busy transforming themselves into their scariest characters yet.
Tonight's just Halloween, so it's a lot of the whatever people get the chance to do, they want to do something super fun. And they're like, I have an idea. That's what Halloween is all about for us.
It's the 14th scary season for Albert Hare. But this Halloween, he'll play a role he's never played before. Love is in the air.
Always, and it's always a love for Halloween, and then there's more.
Instead of a hair-raising scare, he's part of one of the sweetest moments in a love story. Weeks ago, Steve Guiazda got a voicemail from groom-to-be Logan Shieldhouse, who had a request he'd never heard before.
Who reaches out to a haunted house to have an engagement? I'm like, but who's crazy enough to actually call him back and go, yeah, let's do it?
The plan was set for the Olmsted Falls man to ask the most important question of his life.
Oh my God, what is happening?
Will you marry me?
What?
Will you make me the happiest man in the world?
Yeah, yes!
Haunted houses are absolutely her thing.
Logan worked with the haunted house to position himself inside the attraction for the spooky surprise.
I literally had no idea.
I'm a scaredy cat, and I would never ever think of doing something like this.
Why do you want to go so bad?
This was
That's so weird.
Right. Well, yeah, right.
You
And
haven't watched like scary movies with me.
A scary good story for the happy couple.
I love you.
In Broadview Heights, Tessa DiTiro, News 5.
Get ready for a pizza that's true to DiGiorno's promise, but it definitely isn't delivery. The company's Thanksgiving pizza is perfect for people who don't feel like cooking for the holiday. Toppings include the obligatory turkey, but also sweet potatoes, green beans, cranberries, and crispy onions.
The pie even has gravy. Yes, gravy. If you need some time to think about it, that's okay. You can only get it on DiGiorno's website, and it's already sold out. But the company promises it will release more for pre-order every Wednesday until Thanksgiving at noon Eastern Time.
I don't know. I might consider this. Are you going to get this pizza?
I think I'm more of a traditional Thanksgiving cooker.
Oh, I'll test that. I might consider it, though. I'll take advantage of this wait time. I might consider it.
Alrighty, thank you so much for joining us here on the News Feed. We'll see you all next week. Have a great week.